Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into a story from the Quran that is honestly just so cinematic. It's this incredible, high-stakes showdown that's part public spectacle, part political theater, and ultimately a timeless lesson on the real nature of truth.
And this quote right here, it just nails it. This is the stage we're on. We're looking at a carefully managed event where a ruler, Pharaoh, thinks he can use a big, flashy show to just crush a message of truth. So what happens when a performance runs headfirst into reality? Well, let's find out.
All right, so let's get into the setup. You got to understand, Pharaoh doesn't just arrange a debate here. Oh no, he engineers a massive piece of state propaganda, a whole spectacle designed to guarantee his win before anyone even says a word.
Pharaoh's first move is textbook propaganda management. The verse tells us the magicians were brought together at an appointed time on a known day. Now, that's not just a casual detail. It means this is a scheduled, public, and totally controlled event. It's all about shaping the narrative and making sure his opponent, Musa, that's Moses, is publicly humiliated.
And this right here gets to the heart of it. Pharaoh is working from the tyrant's playbook. He genuinely believes that optics can beat revelation. He thinks that if he can just put on a big enough show, get a huge crowd cheering, that the actual substance of Musa's message just won't even matter.
So you immediately see this fundamental clash. On one side, you have Pharaoh's system. It's all about mass mobilization, using crowd psychology and social pressure to make his power seem legitimate. But truth doesn't need any of that. It doesn't need numbers. It just needs to be solid. It needs to be grounded.
And check this out. What about Pharaoh's star performers? The magicians. They show up, and what's their first question? So, are we going to get a reward if we win this? It is completely transactional. And Pharaoh's response? It's genius manipulation. He says, of course, but then he adds something even better. Proximity to power. A spot in his inner circle. He's offering them not just money, but status.
Okay, so the stage is set, the performers have their contracts, and now the showdown kicks off. And right from the jump, you can feel the massive difference in the energy coming from each side.
Just look at Musa's response. It is so calm, so confident, there's zero theatrics. He doesn't puff out his chest or trash talk. He just says, go ahead, do your thing. And that's not weakness, That's the quiet confidence of someone who understands that truth doesn't need to panic. It can let falsehood have the stage for a minute, knowing it'll expose itself.
Now, in total contrast, listen what the magicians say. They don't swear by God or even by their own skills. They swear by the might of Pharaoh. And that says everything, doesn't it? Their source of power, their confidence, their entire reality is tied up in a human being, in a political authority.
So the magicians throw their ropes and staffs, and they create this massive, terrifying illusion. The crowd is absolutely captivated. The spectacle is working perfectly, exactly like Pharaoh wanted. But then, in one single moment, the whole thing just shatters.
And here it is. This is the climax of the story. This is the moment where the meticulously crafted illusion smacks right into divine reality. And the result isn't a competition, it's a complete and total consumption. So Musa throws his staff, and it transforms. But this is not another trick. This is a real miracle that physically devoured the tools of their deception. It didn't just outperform their magic. It literally erased it from existence.
And this illustrates such a profound principle. Truth and falsehood, they don't operate on the same level. It's not like one is just a better argument than the other. When real truth shows up, it doesn't just argue with a lie. It completely nullifies it. It reveals it for the empty illusion it always was.
So the amazing part here isn't just what happened, but who understood it the fastest. What comes next is maybe the biggest shock in the whole story, the immediate total transformation of the guys who were experts in deception. Their reaction is just instantaneous. See, they knew better than anyone in that crowd what was possible with magic and what wasn't. They recognized this was something else entirely. They saw real divine power, and in that split second they just fell to the ground in prostration and declared their faith for everyone to hear.
And notice how specific they are. They don't just say, we believe in God. They say, the Lord of the worlds, the Lord of Moses and Aaron. I mean, wow. That is a direct political challenge to Pharaoh, who claimed he was a lord. In one sentence, they are dismantling his entire claim to power. And Pharaoh's reaction? It's a classic authoritarian meltdown. He just can't process it. His rage isn't even about what they believe, it's that they dared to believe it without his authorization. In his twisted mind, even your own faith has to be approved by the state.
So Pharaoh threatens them with the most horrible, painful death imaginable. In their response? No harm. That one phrase shows a complete shift in their reality. Their focus isn't on this world anymore. See, once the hereafter becomes more real to you than the here and now, tyranny loses its ultimate weapon, which is the fear of death.
So, what does this all boil down to? This story isn't just about a cool miracle. It's about two competing systems, one built on earthly power, the other on faith, and how one can completely and utterly dismantle the other. Here's the big picture. The story just tears down the idea of performative power, the idea that truth is decided by who has the biggest crowd, and the whole system of state-sponsored lies. And what does it replace them with? Real virtues, moral courage, submission to objective truth, and a faith that you can't buy off with promises of safety or status.
Ultimately, it comes down to this powerful line. Pharaoh spent all this time and energy planning a spectacle to prop up his own power. But the outcome was something he could never have planned for. A divine audit that led to a real, profound, and very public conversion. And that leaves us with something to think about, doesn't it? This story is absolutely timeless, because this dynamic, spectacle versus substance, power versus truth, it's always playing out. And it pushes us to ask ourselves, when does a big show of power, something designed to project absolute strength, actually end up revealing its own deep, fundamental weakness? Thanks so much for joining me.